Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw.
Woo! Thank you. Come on back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I'm your host, Commander Claw, and I'm bringing you this Tarkir Dragonstorm spoiler commander. We're going to talk about Teval, Arbiter of Virtue. Honestly, let's look at the art. It looks more like a bird than a dragon. I see the spiritness in it. I think it's cool. It's not my favorite. It's just not my favorite. The spirit is kind of cool. It just looks majestic and elegant. And it's going through the tropical, dense rainforest with the lake and looks like it's crystal clear waters. Amazing. But this is a Sultai commander. It's rocking with the delve mechanic. It's rocking with lifelink. It's a flyer. And I think it can be exposed, abused with colorless spells. And I'm talking about Eldrazi's and artifacts. And you know I love artifacts. I love artifact commanders. And I think this is one of them. But I'm going to bring you 5 cards. Actually, I lied. I'm bringing you more than 5. So stick around. Stick around. So let me read the commander so we can get this started. Make sure you hit the like button if you're just feeling good about this commander and you want to brew this commander. So for 2 green, black, and a blue, 6/6 body, spirit dragon, legendary creature. It flies. It has lifelink. Then it says spells you cast have delve. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting those spells pays for 1 colorless mana. Okay. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. So before you process everything, after I read the last line, the creature has lifelink. So it does 6 damage, you gain 6 life. If it has double strike and you deal 6 damage, you'll do it 2 times if your opponent does not have a blocker. So you'll gain 12 life. So the loss of life is countered by the ability of lifelink for Teval. Just had to put that out there. Okay. Now let's talk about the delve mechanic. So you literally exile cards from your graveyard to pay for 1 mana for a spell, right? And I thought of colorless cards immediately because I want to cast them for free. In a way, it's for free. So this commander does need the self-mill. You need some type of engine to self-mill to put cards in your graveyard and have that couple powerful cards that are in your hand that you can get rid of or that you want to play, and you just get rid of cards in your graveyard to pay for 1 colorless. So with that being said, and this 5 EDH red cards I recommend for Teval. Let's start with the Eldrazi's. So let's start with Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. For 10 mana, it's a 12/12 Eldrazi. When you cast a spell, draw 4 cards. It has Annihilator 4. It says when Kozilek is put into a graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard into the library. Okay, so ideally you want this in your hand. And all you have to do is exile 10 cards from your graveyard to cast Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. That's great value after you've been self-milling anyway. Also, if you self-mill this, you you actually reshuffle your graveyard into your library. Optimistically, you reset your library, which is really good. That's why this card is super powerful. Next up in the middle, I just want to bring this card to light. Not a lot of players talk about it, in my opinion. It's Eldritch Immunity for one colorless mana. Dang. So to play Eldritch Immunity, all you got to do is exile 1 card from your library, and it pays for the colorless symbol. What you need to know is colored mana cannot pay for the colorless symbol. That's that diamond in the mana cost. Otherwise, it's an instant, Kindred instant Eldrazi. Target creature you control gains protection from each color until end of turn. Overload for 5. The reason why I put this card in because you know how powerful that is to have an instant speed spell and just exile 1 card from your graveyard, and you ultimately didn't even tap mana for it? Powerful. Next up, we got Sire of 7 Deaths, 7 mana, first strike, Vigilance, Eldrazi, 7/7. It's bonkers. Pay 7 for ward. Yeah. That's Eldrazi's. Moving on to artifacts and equipments that you want to attach to Teval. So, like I said, Teval, if it has double strike, you gain double the life. So that offsets the loss of life using casting spells for delve. Um, Leyline acts for 4 mana over here on the left hand side. You know by now, if it's in your opening hand, you just put it on the battlefield. Creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Simple, straightforward. But what I really like is the one in the middle. Eater of Virtue for 1 mana. Artifact equipment. Whenever a equipped creature dies, exile it. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. As long as a card exiled with Eater of Virtue has flying, equipped creature has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. Equip 1. My favorite card for this would be the Questing Beast. If you add Questing Beast to Teval, Arbiter of Virtue, and Eater of Virtue is attached to Questing Beast. Questing Beast dies, you exile it, and you attach Eater of Virtue to Teval as your commander. It gets abusive. He has a bunch of keywords. I need to put them on the screen, actually. I'll do that after I finish recording. Next up, we got Sword of Light and Shadow for 3 mana. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, and it has protection from white and from black. Whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you gain 3 life, and you may return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Equip 2. A nice get creatures out from your graveyard and put them in your hand. You're going to be self-milling anyway, so why not retrieve lost creatures, quote unquote lost creatures? You didn't lose them on purpose. You milled them on purpose, and they probably have some type of ability to come back anyway, like flashback, uh, reanimation, stuff like that. Moving on to powerful artifact creatures. Let's start over here with the Reaver Titan. It costs 7 mana. Literally, if you have your commander, you just exile 7 cards from your graveyard and you pay for it. And you lose 7 life. I did forget that. I forgot that for saying that from the video. You just don't delve for free. You delve and lose life. But seven exile cards, 7 life, artifact vehicle, but it's a 10/10. Protection from mana values of 3 or less. And whenever it attacks, it deals fight damage to each opponent. Crew 4. Very powerful card. Unfortunately, it shot up to like $35, which I thought was crazy in the 8th edition set. All right, Phyrexian Flesh Gorger. If you delve it, exile 7 cards, lose 7 life. 7/5 worm, has menace, lifelink, and ward. Pay life equals to Phyrexian Flesh Gorger's power. Awesome card, very powerful. So, Teval, Arbiter of Virtue, really good card. If you delve, stuff will be leaving your graveyard. So why not get a payoff? I have Thrawn Vigil for 1 and a black. It's an enchantment. Whenever 1 or more artifact and or creature's card leaves your graveyard during your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So every time you delve, you just remove a creature and artifact, and you get a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Preferably Teval, Arbiter of Virtue, your commander, making him a 7/7, 8/8. I don't know how much power you're going to put on him, but great synergy here. And it's an enchantment. You're doing anyway. Moving on to the last card. So we got Ethereal Forager for 4 and 2 blue, 3 body, 3/3 body elemental will. It has Delve itself. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting a spell pays for 1. It has flying. It says whenever it attacks, you may return an instant or sorcery card exile with Ethereal Forager to its owner's hand. So yeah, if you cast this without your commander, it has Delve and you will not lose life. But this card is really good to save those cards that are instants or sorceries that you want to use later on, like a Cyclonic Rift, or maybe a bounce spell, maybe a unblockable instant or sorcery, something like that. Really good card. Thank you for watching this video. I am your host, Commander Claw, and Teval, Arbiter of Virtue, another Sultai commander, unique mechanic with Delve. It can get better. Let me know in the comment section below of any cards that you think is just going to make this go bonkers. Yeah, thank you for your time. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Peace.